Take a look at this photograph taken in London in the 1960s. What do you see? No mobile phones, people seem happier, more relaxed. Did you notice that there are no obese people anywhere? According to government figures, in the UK our BMI levels are rising steadily each and every year. So what happened between the 1960s and 2024? Did we all collectively get greedy all of a sudden? Or is it something else? Many of us spend all day sitting at a desk and then relax in front of a screen after work. We are definitely moving a lot less than we used to, but is that the only thing that changed? Some speculate the rise in obesity is because our food has had so much sugar added to it. Finding anything in a supermarket completely sugar-free is quite challenging. Could adding copious amounts of sugar into the food chain really have that drastic of an effect? Here's a paragraph that appears on the website of the National Library of Medicine. To summarize, it explains that studies have confirmed that the addictive nature of sugar supersedes the addictive nature of cocaine, so much so that the sugar generates a supranormal reward signal in the brain that has the potential to override self-control mechanisms. Yes, you heard correctly. Sugar is more addictive than cocaine. It has the ability to control your brain and override your willpower, and it is in almost every item we eat. The food industry collectively have been breeding addicts by adding more and more sugar into everyday food items. Yet despite this scientific evidence, the sugar addicts are solely blamed for the obesity epidemic. Why don't we blame heroin addicts in the way we blame obese people? Why don't we tell alcoholics to just stop being lazy and put the cup down? Imagine saying to someone who drinks a liter of vodka every day, "Why don't you just drink in moderation?" Neither the food industry or the government have taken any responsibility for the problem. The food companies are making more money than they ever have, and the UK government saw an opportunity and took it. The sugar tax was implemented on soft drinks, raking in a very sweet £330 million in tax revenue each year. The tax has done nothing to slow the rate of obesity. Let's move on now and take a look at 2 TV shows. The first show is called Intervention. An alcoholic or a drug addict is approached by their family and begged to go into treatment. The addict usually gets angry and runs off, but then reluctantly agrees to go to rehab. The addict is then taken to a rehab facility, where they are medically detoxed and given counselling, outpatient support, and most importantly, sympathy and love. Now let's take the second TV show called My £600 Life. A sugar addict has to beg their family members to drive them to see a weight loss specialist. If the family agree to help, the addict is taken to the doctor. The doctor tells them they must stop eating, go home and lose weight. If the contestant successfully manages to lose enough weight in 3 months, the doctor may decide to give them life-saving bariatric surgery. There's no understanding of the root problem, no detox program, no sympathy or support for the addict, and counselling is only provided to a handful of the patients. Many people see sugar addicts as different to other addicts. The addiction is blamed on the addict, and little to no help is available. The words greedy, no self-control, no willpower, no self-respect are used commonly to refer to someone struggling with this debilitating addiction. And despite the scientific evidence that proves how strong sugar addiction is, most people don't even recognise obesity as being the result of addiction to begin with. For those of you old enough to remember, in 2004, a new hit TV show emerged called The Biggest Loser. Contestants were pitted against each other to lose as much weight as they could to win a large cash prize. It was not uncommon for the trainers to shout and push the addicts to their physical limits, sometimes to the point where they would throw up. Can you imagine an alcoholic going to a rehab centre to be screamed at and made to exercise for 6 hours a day? But this is just another example of the mindset society has towards obese people. Instead of a focus on detoxing, counselling, life coping mechanisms, and supporting each other, the contestants were put through 6 hours of grueling exercise every day and given a highly restrictive diet to get their weight as low as possible for the season finale. A large studio audience would watch on as the starved contestants present their new slimmed-down bodies one by one. Everyone clapped and cheered the addicts on for their incredible accomplishments. They had done what everyone told them was so easy. They went to the gym and started working out. They counted their calories. Calories in versus calories out. Easy. It should come as no surprise that almost every single winner from every single season weighed more after 5 years than they did when they entered the show. Since the introduction of the Ozempic drug for weight loss, many obese people have found weight loss success and are able to control their hunger and cravings. It's important to note that heroin addicts are given a drug called methadone to support them with overcoming their addiction. And with the right support, many addicts use this drug to help them live normal lives and get healthy. Sugar addicts are never given the same understanding, of course. Taking a drug to fix the hormonal imbalance so you feel full after you eat, like a normal-sized person, is seen as cheating. The other side to having a high sugar diet is that you become insulin resistant. A person with insulin resistance stops receiving the signal telling them to stop eating when they are full. Most people who have insulin resistance do not know they have it. Doctors will not test this unless you specifically ask. So they feel hungry all the time and don't understand why. This makes going into even a small calorie deficit extremely uncomfortable. That feeling of hunger doesn't go away. It nags and gnaws away at the person until they give in to make the screaming in their head stop. Most obese people will tell you they are on a diet 90% of the time. They will white-knuckle the hunger and the sugar cravings for a short period. But putting all of your emotional effort into not giving into the hunger and relentless cravings means that one small thing, such as a bad day at work, can mean the addict feels they don't have the emotional strength to fight both the hunger, the cravings, and the issue at hand. And a bad day turns into a food binging session, which over time leads to further weight gain. The vicious diet binge cycle. There are those that have taken the decision to embrace their larger bodies and try and enjoy life despite the obvious challenges that living in a bigger body comes with. They go on vacation, get dressed in nice clothes, go out to parties, and travel to beautiful cities. An honourable decision to take for your mental health, rather than a lifetime of feeling unhappy, surely. Not for those of you in the comments section. Seeing an overweight person happy is like kryptonite to Superman. These people are accused of promoting an unhealthy lifestyle just for existing. So why do obese people cause a visceral compulsive rage in people? Let's put our tinfoil hats on for a second and see if there might be a reason we are programmed to blame sugar addicts, but not any other addicts. The average overweight person is in full-time work, paying their income taxes to the government like every good law-abiding citizen. Their addiction to food means they line the pockets of food companies by buying a lot more food than someone not addicted to sugar. Then around the age of 45, an overweight person develops either diabetes or a heart issue where they may be prescribed insulin or blood thinners. This feeds the pharmaceutical companies with another patient reliant on their drugs. Tax money taken from the Treasury and given directly to drug companies courtesy of the National Health Service. But why would the government allow that? In the UK, the average age of death for an obese person aligns with the age of retirement, and so the government doesn't have to pay you your pension, and it also doesn't have to take care of you in old age. In summary, you get addicted to the sugar in the food, you get sick enough to need the drugs, but not so sick you stop working, and then when you ultimately succumb to the effects of a high sugar diet, you're blamed for not having enough self-control. It's the perfect cycle. So perfect, it's almost as if it was planned.